Alright, welcome to the stream. We just got on. Big Talk Tuesday on YouTube, episode 2. Today we got Jello, Braylon, of course, co-host, or I guess I'm a other co-host too. Braden, and then over here, Issa. And that's the stream for today. Alright, let's get in.
See y'all tomorrow. Oh, what'd you break?
Oh. But anyways, what do you want to start off with? You want me to pull out a topic?
Yeah, let's get on that.
Hey, let's talk about the social and economic state of the world right now.
I do want to talk about the social and economic state of the world right now. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold you.
Alright, you want to start off serious?
Let's do it.
Oh shit. I'm not gonna be able to contribute to this shit.
Yeah, I know.
Might as well try. I guess I'm
that's one we already talked about. I would say, how do you not stress about the little things?
The little things.
Yeah, like, because I know a lot of people that freak out over, like, little things and it'll completely destroy their day or completely destroy their mood. You know what I mean? And you can't let the little things control you. I feel a lot of the time, like, oh my god, my voice is dead.
Nah, you good, bro. You good, bro. Yeah, you go first.
They've never just really stressed me out. I don't know why.
You're just a different breed of human, though, to be honest, Jello. Like, from all my time knowing you, you just don't care. I think I know why that is, and I think you know why that is, but you just don't care.
To be honest, I don't even know why that is.
Because you're autistic, man. No. You're genuinely, like, I think it's what makes you at this point. And I think you understand that, and it's not, like, a negative at all. Because a lot of people, they look at it like that, like, even though that it is that way, like, you wouldn't be Jello without the Jello, you know what I mean? Like,
hey.
so you just genuinely don't care, and I think that's part of what makes you, like, such an alluring person sometimes, is, like, because a lot of, like, bro, even the way that you look at, like, serious topics a lot of the time, you'll pick your viewpoint as something to oppose other people. Like, you just like to mess around. Like, you're not really looking at it that deep, and I think that's one of the things that really helps you, because you're never going to be, like, too stressed about a situation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where, like, a lot of people, especially, like, me, I worry about a lot of the little stuff a lot of the time. I overthink a lot. Where, like, you may not be thinking about it, and you may just be like, all right, bro, we're just going to go with the ride and see how it goes. Okay, here's a bump. Let's go over it. Where I'm going to be, like, anticipating the bumps. A bump comes up that I didn't anticipate. I'm tweaking. I'm like, all right, what else can go wrong? You know what I mean? So the little things can affect me a lot of the time, but I think you just have to try and, like...
I mean, like, sometimes when they just, like, keep piling up, then that gets, like, a little overwhelming, but I never let, like, just one little thing just fucking, like, throw me off my whole fucking mood.
For sure.
I'm not the fucking fan.
How about you, Brandon?
With me? It's something I won't say I struggle with, but... Because it is easy to forget about those things, but I wish it didn't linger on my mind as much. Like, a while ago, I was at work, and some lady said some shit about my hair. And, of course, it's a white lady. But, like, that shit was weird to me. I'm like, you don't know how my hair work, how this shit work at all, obviously. Like, why are you out here talking about my shit? Like, get out of my face. But
exactly what he said.
Are you going to sit on the
some
bed?
shit like... He said some shit like, I had to tie my hair back, and she says, you don't want I had to try them back better because they were, like, she think they gonna get into, like, her food or whatever because I make sandwiches. And I'm like, I know how my shit working. You ain't gonna have no hair falling in your food. You ain't gonna, my shit not gonna.
Bro, I would worry about that. I would worry about that more with, like, a white lady.
I know.
Because the skinny hair is more likely to, like, your hair is, like, compact. You know what I mean? That's why it's like that.
Yeah, and, like, my team lead was talking about it. I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck. I deal with this shit. I know what this shit is like. Yeah. So I don't really care about those things. But though I wish it didn't linger for as long as it did, because, like, for a good 30 minutes, I was thinking, like, what would I have said to that lady? And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Let's not dwell on that. Let's keep it pushing.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
So you're saying just, like, try your best to keep it pushing. Don't really let the small things.
Yeah, those things cannot linger on your mind. You can't let those things get stuck on you, because you will start to think about those things the more you give energy.
Don't let them control you, man.
Yeah. So we talk about not letting things control you.
What's your 2 cents, Issa, man?
I don't know, man. Honestly, I came a little lately, kind of.
If you want, I do have a better topic.
He just fucks a bitch.
I was waiting.
That's all it is.
I don't know.
Alright, this is I think this is probably going to be the deepest topic we ever talked about on the podcast, but I think it's perfect for this cast.
Yeah.
What event in your life changed you most?
Oh.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's tough. That's what I've been saving that one. I know this one might start a long convo, bro. Come on, what's
Alright. Who going first?
I'm not gonna start first.
Okay, alright. I think I've already talked about this on the podcast. I would think the like the thing that affected me in my life the most, hold on. Anyway.
Good talk.
So the thing that overall like affected my life the most over time, I've told this story on the podcast before, I believe, but I had a teacher in
I already know what it is.
Shut up, John. I had
John.
No.
Nah, John.
Yeah, John's in the chat.
Oh.
But so my third grade teacher was easily the best teacher I ever had, and I was so young at the time. I think this is what makes it stick with me so much, is like she was the first teacher I ever had to like genuinely care about my learning and stuff. I would say my first grade teacher did it a little bit too, but it wasn't on the same level. Like my third grade teacher, Miss Eckhout, shout out Miss Eckhout, I love her to death. Alright, I love her so much with my whole heart. Miss Eckhout, greatest person, or one of the greatest people ever to ever touch this earth. Absolutely amazing lady. Beautiful, beautiful person. Such a kind heart. Like, she would keep me after class every single day. She would keep me and another kid after class every single day. And she would make us study and make us work harder. And that right there at the time, I was so grateful for that. And I was able to realize how positive that was and how much that had helped me. But I don't know, so powerful to have somebody actually genuinely care about you, especially in education and stuff. That like
Muscle definition.
that early in my education and stuff, and it was just completely different. Like, shut up, John. Shut up.
What did he say?
This isn't the time to talk about that, bro. Shut up. But seriously, like, she was the most like impactful teacher I've ever had in all my life. Like, seriously, it makes me work harder to this day. I still think about it. Like, and a year later, after I had her, she actually, the year after me, she stopped halfway through the year. She couldn't teach anymore due to illness, and she ended up passing from breast cancer a little bit later, and it literally broke me as a kid. Like, that literally shattered me. Like, knowing, like, somebody who had helped me so much and did so much for me and went out of their way so much for me, just to see them gone forever, and nobody else could get that. I was the last year that kids had her the entire time, and I was the last student who could experience that from her. Me and that other kid. We were the last ones that ever got that type of treatment from her. We were the last ones that got to stay after class with her. We were the last ones that got to sit there and actually like listen to her and understand and appreciate what she could do for us. And guess what the other kid did? At the time when she was doing that for us, he said he hated her. He said that he was mad at her for that. He said he was upset. He didn't like the fact that she was doing that. And it made me so mad, the way that he would disrespect his blessings and just throw that away. Like, you never want to throw that away. Somebody who genuinely cares about you and wants to invest in your future is crazy. That's one in a million. And she ended up passing away, and it broke me. Like, I cried for the entire day. Like, I'm not bullshitting. Genuinely, the entire day I fucking cried. Like, I don't know. Just so bad. I ended up writing a speech about it, and they had a memorial service at the church, or not at the church, at the school, and they did it way too fucking late. I was so upset with the school. They did it way too late. They took way too much time, but whatever. They finally ended up doing it, and I gotta say my speech in front of her family, all the teachers, everybody, and they gave me a standing ovation, and like I got to hug her family and all that, and it was great. But yeah, no, definitely the most impactful thing I ever had. It taught me like never take what you have for granted. Like, everything can change in a second. Just like be appreciative of everything, and like I don't know. A lot of people they definitely throw away things that can help them. You gotta be open to everything. Like, even if it seems like somebody's trying to like control you or like force you into doing something, you have to understand the purpose. You have to understand where it's coming from and their intent. Because a lot of, like, deep down, I understood. I saw the intent in her heart to help, and that's what mattered. You know, I understood how much she cared, and that's what it mattered. And I don't know, that just fucked my head as a kid.
No, I feel like I I can tell she meant it a lot to you, but how you talk about it, for sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sorry.
you had a really good connection with it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry that she passed it, man.
Yeah, no, I miss
Terrible.
her. Sure. And I always rep breast cancer awareness stuff because of that to this day. I've had a lot of people in my life die of cancer. Like, I don't know. Bad.
Cancer's fucked, bro.
It is.
Fuck cancer.
I'm always repping the pink ribbons, though. I even got a shirt with a pink ribbon on it just because.
Yeah.
Like, my grandma had breast cancer, too.
My great grandma
obviously.
has cancer.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. The whole situation fucked. But that, I think that's one of my most impacting. There's other events for sure. There's a lot in my life that I think has impacted me a lot, but that I would say is the single most. Like if I could pinpoint a single most, it's a very hard decision to make, but I would say that right there kind of put everything into motion. You know what I mean? Like that made me who I was today. If that hadn't happened, I probably would be like kind of like a stuck up piece of shit kid. I'm not gonna lie. Like I probably would not be the same. For sure.
It's
But
crazy how like such a little thing can impact someone, make such a big difference in someone's whole life.
yeah, exactly. All she thought she was doing was keeping this kid after class.
It changes
everything.
Yeah.
Like it changed
Shows
everything.
so much
Like
trying
I'd
to
never
take
had a teacher do that for me.
It shows a lot.
Every single day, consistently keep me after class for hours.
Yeah.
How much time investment she has, like that's great. I don't know. That right there was definitely one of my most impactful moments I ever had. I don't know. It's different, but it sucks. It sucks losing somebody like that, especially a good person, especially when they impact you like that. But I'm just happy I got the opportunity to have her.
What's that saying?
What should I say? He said they do so much and they never know. They're never gonna see the benefits of helping someone like she did for you and after the end of the school year. That's true. They are underappreciated. Teachers are underappreciated for real. We spend more time with them than our families sometimes. They definitely spend more time with us
I
than their
love
own
teachers
family.
like that, man. Teachers that give their time and energy to make sure you end up the best form of yourself. It's just,
I can't remember really the last time I had a teacher like that. Probably
I know, bro.
6th or 1st grade.
It was actually
high school teachers do not be like
Mr.
that.
Hughes,
That's why I
Mr.
really
Faunus for you.
Mr. Faunus was the person. that
Mr.
made a
Hughes
big
and
difference
Miss
in my
Day
life.
were the only two teachers that
He was
have
the
ever done
person that
that for
definitely
me.
made the
That
whole
actually,
thing
like, I
happen.
felt like cared about my education.
Who was that? I'm sorry.
Mr. Hughes and Miss Dane. I love Miss Dane, bro. She's not dead. I just don't see her anymore. She's getting old though. Like she loved our family so much. Like we got invited to her wedding and everything.
I think Miss Palmer passed away too.
Miss Palmer.
Yeah.
Who was that again? Fourth grade.
That was my first grade teacher.
Oh, 1st grade.
You know, it's never
She taught me how to read.
That's how you gotta read.
Yeah, no,
Think
because
about
I was going into 1st grade, still could not read a word. All the other kids were reading chapter books and shit. Could not read a single word. By the end of 1st grade, guess what? 5th grade reading level, baby. I'm like that. Hey, I'm a late bloomer, but I always ascend. No love.
Love you. Alright. But shit. Okay.
You got one?
Yeah, I got one. It's actually something that happened rather recently. It's just been sitting on my mind. It's I may have a more impactful situation later on, but I know that this so I had a conversation with my grandmother, who is also dealing with breast cancer right now, and I had to talk about her life and how she she had gems to give me, and I appreciate that. Like she broke down like, hey, this happened to my brother. My older brother, my second set of siblings. Like my grandma has a lot of siblings, and she's the last one left. They're in the first set, so it was just her. She talks about how she built like her life around it. Like she's the matriarch of our family. She got to see all these grandchildren and children build lives around them, and she said that's the happiest that she could be. Is just making sure she could see all these people. She said she's happy to go whenever because she knows that she built something, and that resonated with me. Shit, grandma. I'm like, this lady used to take me to preschool when my mom had to go to work. We would drive over back to Detroit, and she would take me over to the East Point Elementary School. I forgot what it was called, but she took care of me, and she always a generous grandma. We love our grandma with all our passion. We have a big family, so the fact that she set aside that time to talk to me, she loved talking to me. So I'm like, so happy to have that conversation with her, and I hope she gets to stay longer. But that's how I know I want to end my experience here, is to leave that impact. Like, was I able to build something that's gonna stay here and that I'm proud of? You know what I mean?
It's crazy to think about, like I was saying about your teacher and now your grandma. It's so crazy how like it's a little thing that people don't think about being a big thing. Like her just talking to you and dropping those gems of knowledge about her life and her experiences are so impactful to you. And they're so life changing, honestly. That is life changing to figure that for sure. Especially for someone that close to you.
Yeah.
Nah, I think that means a lot because kind of similar like my grandpa, he was going through a really rough time like medically, like I believe he had a heart infection. I thought he might have like some sort of like blood cancer. Yeah, I think they thought he might have bone cancer or something like that. So they were worrying about him, doing a lot of tests. He wasn't doing very good. Bro wasn't eating, losing a lot of weight. I have a picture of him in the hospital. He was not doing good, but I took a picture of him because we finally got him to get out of his bed and go on a fucking walk with us. And I was so happy, bro. I was so happy. I have a picture of him holding his little IV thing, walking around with us, man. I got him out of the fucking bed for once. I was so happy, bro. And then I've had, I don't know exactly what it was, but I think I went up there last summer and I had a deep conversation with him. Or no, it was earlier this year maybe. I don't know. But recently I had, within the past year or so, I had a deep conversation with him and I realized a lot. Like, and I heard things that he was saying to my family when he was going through that. And he would say a lot of things about like losing hope or like, yo, I'm not going to be here for very long to people, and it would worry them. But at the same time, like, I understood what he was saying because I think a lot like him. If I show you pictures of him and then show you a picture of me, people have said that we look very similar. We're very similar people, and that we clash because of that.
You said your grandpa, right?
Yeah, my grandpa. We call him Grumpy because he's grumpy. He's grumpy as fuck. Old
I think I'm not.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you might have for sure. But no, he said a lot about not being here and like preparing to go and all that sort of stuff, and it was a lot of harsh stuff, but at the same time, like, I don't know, bro, it really like it resonated deeply with me because I felt a lot of what he was saying because he was going through so much at the time, and he was talking about how he was just like okay with it and the way that he was able to like come to terms with it, similar to like how the show Midnight Gospel. I'm really into like I love stuff like that, like the most powerful thing to me is when somebody is so comfortable with themselves that they can accept the fact that they might die and they don't care. Yeah. Like, that is so powerful.
Being able to let go and like have the release of fear is such a powerful thing for the inevitable.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I could die right now and I'll know that I left something here.
Yeah,
I know.
You know you did something. You know
I did my job.
Every day.
You might die. You might die.
We talked about that earlier about living a fulfilling life and living something.
Exactly. Every second you need to live to the fullest, so when you're gone, it's cool. It doesn't matter.
Living for something is cool. Dying for something is cool. It's just, oh my God.
Living all you want and die, and if you die, you die. That's the best way to live in my opinion.
Living the way you live.
Yeah, exactly.
Living the way you desire is crazy to me. Just like, dang, I really can pursue whatever the fuck I want and I can get there. Yeah. And then I can look back and be proud and know if some motherfucker come up and, like, I don't know, bonk me on the side of the head with some crazy shit and I die, I'm gonna be like, shit, it's the way it is.
I had a good life.
Yeah. Like, damn, I really did what I had to do.
Exactly. Shit. Alright, who's next? I gotta get some water real quick though.
You wanna grab me one?
Should we wait for you to come back?
No, you can.
You got a story,
Alright. I got a few.
Let's
get back for moments. Hold on. I'm gonna need the education on what happened.
Okay.
Should we just wait for him? Just get no water. It won't be that long.
Alright, I'll wait for him.
Yeah.
And you fuck with these socks? I stole them.
Yeah,
They're not from like the store, from a person.
Is that from
That's crazy. Look at this.
Stealing socks.
Nice.
Is that her socks?
Yeah.
How the fuck did those fit you so well?
I stretched them so far.
They look stretched.
You
You can see his fucking skin through them.
You see his fucking feet.
Look, we should.
This stuff.
Naughty.
This stuff.
That's just so funny, bro.
Damn, I love his iPad still fucking works. But I can't read, his hands too shaky.
Oh, damn.
Bro, what did I miss?
Shit.
What did I miss?
It's crazy.
Politics, man.
Politics indeed.
I hate politics, bro.
Everybody
There's
hates
so
politics.
much.
It's so shady. Like shit.
Authoritarian government. Nah, that's fair.
What if everybody had elevated thinking? Like, what if everybody was trying to educate themselves instead of just like pursuing random power for whatever reason? I'm like, shit, wouldn't the world be a better place?
It's crazy to think. The drive for power.
I feel like
people do so much.
So much crazy
my,
shit.
like I don't agree a lot with what my sister says most of the time, but one thing that she says I do agree on is there needs to be an age limit for the presidency.
You're talking about some different shit now.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about politics.
You're right. I say it should be like maybe like a 15 to 20 year gap is the years you could be president. Like after this certain age and before this certain age.
No.
If you would want one, just let me know and I go through it.
I say maybe like 35 to like 60. That should be the.
Because 35 is the bare minimum.
Yeah.
For what?
For
I feel like
how old you can be to be president.
older people can be leaders as well, and just as long as you're old and not senile.
You gotta be like tapped in.
Not-
You gotta
not
know
see-
how we think.
because-
Yeah, but in a system that we have, we're supposed to be representative of the people. Right?
Yeah.
You should be close and have like the beliefs of the people in mind.
Exactly.
With the representatives. that you
Like
can
when
still
your
run.
when the future of your nation is something you don't agree with anymore, and you're trying to force your older beliefs on them. I don't
Yeah,
think that's
exactly.
And that's not-
They're,
that's
stuck,
not
they're stuck in
productive.
their
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the
It's not
time.
productive. You gotta change for your people's beliefs.
Yeah, because then the two sides are just fighting each other.
You gotta constantly evolve, look better, look forward, look for better ideas. Like a lot of the time, they'll get caught up in older ideas that are they're not the same. They're outdated. Like ideas can be outdated. I don't think people realize that. They think that maybe ideas are timeless or words are timeless or whatever. That's true to an extent. Words may be, but ideas for sure.
Yeah,
Like they're not necessarily applicable over the years because as society changes, people are not gonna be the same. You know what I mean? They're gonna be accustomed to different things, and slowly society is gonna refine and get better, or it should get better. Sometimes it devolves and like has breaks and stuff like that, but it should be striving to get better. And as you get better over time, you can't just keep your ideas the same. You have to sharpen them the same way that society gets sharpened. Like over time, get better, get better, get better. That's the best way to do things. And when you look at the new ideas and you gatekeep and you say, oh, these are wrong, or oh, I can't get on board with this, you're literally hating. Like I don't know how else to say it. It's
If
the
you
loser
didn't
activity.
Think about it and try to like put yourself in. I don't know. It's kind of
Simple
like put
analogy.
yourself in that person's shoes and think about why they're thinking that way, and then make like I said in the car, be reflective. Think about how they're thinking, and then compare it to your own, and then you can have a conversation about it, and we can find a better solution.
We should probably get back down to the original topic.
Yeah. You say you got some power. You got some.
Yeah,
things to
so
say.
I'm gonna keep the first one short because it's pretty similar to Braden's.
Mm.
But about a year and a half ago, a year ago, I lost my godmother to ovarian cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
And
Sorry to hear that.
she was really close. She was such a kind, loving woman. No one hated her. Like so many people showed up to the funeral. So many people I didn't know, and it was hard. They went on a trip to Florida to celebrate her finally getting it. Like she got rid of it. It was gone for a little bit. So they celebrated going down to Florida. But almost immediately after she got back, it came back. It came back worse, and I didn't see her for a little bit. And we had this big rally, like everyone. We took our cars. We all met up at a parking lot nearby her house. Drove by her house, and she was just unrecognizable. Like I thought that was a completely different person. It didn't look like the same person. And then after the funeral, like before that point, I don't remember crying at all for a while. But I cried at least like 10 times at that funeral.
Yeah.
It just really messed me up, and it made me realize that we don't have an infinite amount of time here. Like it's a timer, and I still visit her grave every once in a while. And then a few months ago, I just really I'm not into spiritual shit at all, but I really felt like she was trying to just reach out to me, and so I went there, and I talked to her about the shit that's happened since she was gone and all that, and it just really messed up my mom too, because I was like her best friend, and she's still not over it. Like even a year after, I was just in my room playing video games, waiting to get tired to go to sleep, and I just felt something was off in the house. So I go leave my room, and I see my mom just on the floor of the kitchen crying because she was listening to music while cleaning, and her favorite song popped on, my godmother's, and like I had to comfort her so much, and it was hard seeing her like that, which really like impacted me for a while. It's very similar to yours with Miss fuck, I forgot her name, Miss Eckhart. I want to say somehow. It was very similar to yours. She was just such a loving woman and was taken way too soon.
You know, that's like my Uncle Gene too. He had brain cancer. I remember like seeing him, because we went to see him every weekend. We would go out and we would see him, even though, because all my family's from the country, they live very far away. So we had to drive a long ways to see him. Like going and seeing my family, you have to take a lot of time, and we would see him every single weekend. We would make the drive. We would drive 2 hours to the Lansing Hospital and see him, right? So, I don't know. It was one of the last few times I ever saw him. It was everyone was going in and hugging him because he was bedridden. He couldn't move. He was bedridden. He had a serious brain cancer. And it was so hard to see him in that state. But I remember I think I hugged him and I was holding his hand, and I felt like I was hogging the time. Like there was all these people in there and they all know him. These are loving, like people who love him and people who he's loved over his time, and he's sitting here bedridden with not very much time left, and I felt like I was wasting it. Like I felt like by being there and hugging him and holding his hand, like I was genuinely wasting his time, like the little bit that he had left. And then I tried to pull away, and he held my hand harder, and that literally destroyed me. Like when he did that, it destroyed me because I was thinking about other people completely. I wasn't thinking about what he wanted. You know what I mean? Like that was selfish of me to even like process that in my head. Oh, I should pull away and stop spending time with him so somebody else gets a chance. I was thinking about him like an object, like that's horrible, and it literally shattered me. Like when he squeezed back on my hand harder, and like I knew he wasn't gonna be around for very much longer, and like
I wouldn't say that you thought of him as like an object, because it makes sense to think like that in this situation. Like everyone who loves and cares about him is there, and you want to make sure everyone gets that last little bit of time that they can get with him.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you in that situation.
yeah, but like still at the same time, like I don't know, man. With him to hold my hand harder, just it makes me happy looking back at it, but in the time it made me sad. You know what I mean? But now it makes me happy looking back because that shows that he really cared. I mean, he was one of them ones, like genuinely just such a great person. So sad he was taken away. And right after that, me and my cousin went in the kitchen, or like the hospital cafeteria. And like they had cake and stuff in there, and we're fat boys, so you would have thought you would have thought we were going in there for cake, and you would have thought when they had the free cake in there we was gonna take it. Yeah. Nah, we sat down on the table, we hugged each other, we put our heads together and cried. That's all we did. We didn't touch that cake. No matter how fat we were, it didn't matter. That cake was not being touched just because we couldn't think about anything except like how horrible the situation was, and like.
Yeah, you lose your appetite in situations.
Yeah, bro.
You don't want to do anything else but think about.
Yeah. Fucked up, man. But I'm so happy I got those last few moments with him. I'm so happy that you know he was even here in the first place. So, you know what I mean? For a person like the people in my life who I miss, who have passed and stuff like that, I'm very grateful that I got the amount of time I did, because you know if those people were never in my life for the first place, like
you could have been completely.
Yeah, I could have been completely different. I literally could have been a different person. You know what I mean? They made me who I am. They made me.
Exactly. Like if you didn't even have Miss Eckhart your third grade year, you probably would have been a completely different person.
Yeah, for sure.
You would never learn to read.
Yeah, that was first grade.
Yeah, first grade.
Yeah, first grade.
Hey, Miss Palmer too. Yeah, I would have never learned how to read. I'd be a caveman right now. I use my pencil like Jello. Look like I'm carving scripture into the paper.
Chisel.
Genuinely though, yeah, I don't know, man, but it does make me happy, like looking back at it. Like, I'm really happy with that moment, you know. But it's just it's so hard when you know somebody's gonna go. But yeah, you know. So I feel you 100% in that story, Jello. That I don't know, I've been through the same sort of thing, man. It's so fucking tough. And like for a while, every time we were going up there, every time that we saw my family, after he had passed. Oh yeah, and at the funeral too, it hit me again because I don't cry very much, like I understand you're supposed to cry a lot at funerals, but I try not to just cause. But like I walked in the church, We walked in, and while we were walking in the church, the small town. It was a very, very small town that he lived in. So the entire town was, the entire like, town's like local elementary school was out like in front of it singing and stuff like gospel and shit, cause it's super religious like country. They were like singing gospel and shit for it, and my mom was just like breaking down in tears, and I was just like holding her, hugging my mom, just walking, crying, sobbing. And then we got in there, we sat down in the pews, and like we weren't crying as much anymore. And then I looked over at my mom, and she just shattered. She just like, started breaking down, and I did the same thing. Like it just.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
I remember one moment as like the mass and all that or whatever it's called was all over at the church, and we were walking out to go to like this. We actually went to Penna's for afterwards. We went to prom for like the whole service and like food and whatever. And that's the last time I remember ever like actually hugging my sister and my mom. Like not my mom, but like my sister and my mom both at once. Like I feel like that definitely brought us just a little bit closer together.
Yeah.
And I feel like the main reason why it impacted me so much, it was the first like, it wasn't like the first death of someone I knew, but it was the first death of someone actually close to me in my life. And then seeing like I never have saw my dad cry, and I remember distinctly looking over and seeing him bawling his eyes out, and that was so hard.
No, for sure. No,
That's something I'm thinking. Like shit, I've never seen my dad cry before.
I see my dad cry all the time. I ain't gonna lie. My dad's a big baby.
I
I love him for it though. No, it's good though. It's good to have like, in my eyes, I'm kind of happy with it. Having like a super emotional father figure is good for me because it helps me a little bit. Like I don't look at like, I don't feel like I have to hide. It helps me a little bit. Like I don't look at like, I don't feel like I have to hide my emotions. Or that's not true.
Okay,
from my mental capability, like the way my mental state is at, I feel like I do have to hide my emotions, but like from like a macho standpoint, I don't necessarily because I know some people they have like that issue, like oh, men don't cry because they never saw their dad cry sort of thing. But like for me, I'm happy my dad's very emotional because it I don't know, it just opened up to other like alleyways of thinking. Because to be honest, my dad was always the one crying for the most part. And my dad's very, very emotional. Like, we would watch movies and he would be... Like, I remember as a kid, we saw... me, my dad, and my sister, we all saw... what's the movie with Groot?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, with the tree dude, yeah.
We
saw
Groot.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
sad. I teared up a little bit at that. That was kind of sad.
I said Minions.
My dad and my sister were in the theaters just crying when Groot died in Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Bro, we are really. That's.
And I was just sitting there. I was just sitting there like.
Actually, another moment was it's gonna be short. There's not much to it. So like while my parents were going through the whole divorce process, and I never really get to spend a whole lot of time with my dad, especially during weekdays, because he's always working by the time I'm pretty much out of bed and all that. Like, there's not a lot of time to hang out with him during like the day, and then the whole afternoon he spent at the restaurant. And I remember one day he took it. Like, I don't remember if he took it off, the restaurant closed early, whatever. And I'm like, I just should probably do something with my dad today. I should take like advantage of him actually being here today. And I'm trying to think of something to do. Eventually, we just decide to go get food. And then he just hugs me right at the door and tells me how he didn't want this to happen and starts crying in my arms about like how he didn't want like this to like the divorce and all that. And I was standing there in shock, holding back my own tears, like didn't know what to do. And that's just like really like, because that was like the second time I ever saw my dad cry, and like that surprised me. It caught me so off guard and just lingered with me for the rest, like not even for the rest of the day, for like until now. I didn't want to not spend the rest of that day with him after that point.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's really tough, to be honest.
It's hard to see someone you really care about emotionally
dude,
distraught.
no.
Yeah.
It's so much worse than that though too, because the fact that his dad came out of him like nowhere to say that means bro was thinking about it.
That emotionally
It's
distraught.
fucked. It's fucked.
Cause like now that he like doesn't live with us anymore, like at least at first I could at least see him before he went to work, say bye, have a good day and stuff like that. But now I just get to see him the days that I work over at the restaurant, and like maybe every other Sunday if he's not even busy. Because I couldn't even see him this Sunday because he had a private event at the restaurant, so he was gone pretty much all day.
Shitty, bro. See, I had a weird relationship with my biological dad. Like, we talk on the phone every now and then. He cool peoples, but you know, he's a father figure, of course. But like, I've never like been so attached to him. Like, you know how some people get really like distraught, like with if their fathers weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I had my stepdad who kind of filled the role as the regular father because I grew up with him as like my dad. Like he's always been there. He's been there since I was like 1. So I've always viewed that man as like a second dad. So like having that relationship with both of them and him being more present, I don't know. It's just an interesting dynamic. I don't hold no malice for either of them though. I like some people held like my sister. I'm not gonna say that. Never mind. But
this is posted after.
Yeah. But just never thought that. But I don't know. That's something they didn't talk about. But I personally have never had any like super strong feelings about my biological dad. I mean, I love to hear his voice. I love talking with him. And I feel like he has a lot of. It's like getting a new person. Not even new, but like somebody like an old friend kind of. But it's not like it's never been. It's weird. It's hard to explain.
Do you feel though, because I think
it's a parental bond, but it's not a strong parental bond. Like I've spent time with him and I talk with him, but it's never been like if I'm in a life down to earth situation, he might be like he's like a little cameo in the show sometimes. That's the best way to explain it. He's like I'm always gonna value what he has to say because I feel like he has a lot of good things to say and we share a lot of same views. I love my dad, but it's you know I'm not as close to him as I would have been like my other parents.
Do you feel that because the way you look at that is actually like a really interesting viewpoint? Like to look at that, like you look at that very positively. I feel.
Yeah, it's
like you said, you like both.
When I look at both.
Do you think though, genuinely, like I know this is kind of a strange question, but do you think that actually like benefited you and valued to the person who you are? Because it sounds like it did. Like having that, because that's almost more rigid. Like having a father and then having another. You know what I mean? Like you basically had two. Like
my parents did a really good job of not showing me like any like tension between any of them. Like. I'm not gonna lie, my parents have argued before, and it's like,
of course,
it happens. But like, it's never been to the point where I didn't think they cared about each other, or I didn't think that they like I've never expected. I know at any point in time that not my dad, not my biological or my stepdad would never like, or my mom even wouldn't even put hands on each other. I know that. I know they would never do that. So when they argue and stuff, it's irritating to hear, but I know for a fact it's gonna come back to a point where they're cordial and they're good at getting their words out. I feel like they could do a little better when working it out like cordially, like with a low tone of voice. But I've never felt like in danger around him. You know, some people grow up in that situation where they expect that danger, like, oh, I need to go hide in my room because this is happening. But I never felt like that. And I'm glad for that. I'm glad they always kept it at that point. Obviously, they can be better than that point, and there's always some growth to happen. But it's never been that. It's never been bad. So I'm always gonna respect that out of them. And that like you said, the relationship that I have with each and every one of them is good. It's good. I see it as a good thing. I can reach out to my dad whenever I want to. He'll hook up. We'll have a conversation. It'll be a productive conversation, and I'll get something out of it. He'll get something out of it. He gets to talk to his son. I get to talk to my dad. Like I'm always gonna appreciate their time and energy. I'm just saying the relationship a little bit different.
Right? Did you have to grow to that point? Like grow to have that perspective on it?
I
come from a similar dynamic, so I'm just curious.
I feel like
how did you like grow to have that view on it, like as like productive view?
I feel like I've grown to have it and that productive mindset, but it's always been to the point where I respected all of them. Like as soon as I've been a kid, they'd be like, "Oh, your dad called. He sent you a present." So I call him and talk to him.
Well, it's your father. You know, that's your father.
Yeah.
Okay, so you coming from a similar dynamic, how do you feel about it? Like, would you say it?
I had the same thing. My mother never spoke that badly about my father in front of me. Vice versa. Our stepfather played a big role in my life. Showed me how to shave, whatnot. You know what I mean? shenanigan man. But definitely it shows, you know, you have a different relationship dynamic with one other than the parent. One definitely can play a different role or have your role in your life. And it just depends on how you take it and how you really feel about it. Because some people
take that really like,
yeah.
really like, oh, Dad, why aren't you always calling me?
Yeah.
And I've never felt like that.
Yeah, so I still have a
Yeah,
connection with my father. I see
yeah.
him on the weekends, or like every other weekend and whatnot, like if I can.
Bro, I live with my dad.
Yeah.
I speak to him maybe a few times a week.
Yeah.
Like, I don't speak to my dad very often. He's always working. I'm always off at the gym doing
stuff.
Hey,
We
I'm always
do
around
stuff.
doing stuff. Like, but he's the same way. Like, that's what I respect about him so much. He's just always out the way hustling. That's all he wants to do is work. Like, genuinely, no, seriously, all he wants to do is work. Like, his entire life, he's so absorbed in work that bro can work the entire week, not even notice. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Like, he struggles to get sleep at night because he works so much. He doesn't have time to sleep. You know what I mean? Because he is computer like design work, so he can literally just sit around and do it all day, and it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a cool dynamic. I like those non-toxic dynamics.
But here's the thing. Any given night, he's down there in the kitchen. He likes to watch like documentaries and stuff like that at night.
Oh, yeah.
You know, watch like podcasts, all sorts of cool stuff. He got me into like podcasts and documentaries. To be honest, like I used to sit down there and watch Joe Rogan with him and shit like that. But yeah. So no, it's cool because like a few days of the week I'll go down there. He'll cook steak or something. We'll sit down there. We'll eat together. We'll talk. We'll go over stuff. We'll like catch up, and it's nice. You know what I mean? It's nice to talk to him. Like I understand that a lot of people they feel that I need to be in contact with my dad all the time, but realistically no. Like you guys, it's important to develop as people, but still heed what he says and listen to him and take his advice. Like,
we talk about it in the car, right? Like respecting that person, but it's gonna be a different relationship. Obviously, he's not gonna be the person I'm gonna live to please my father. Like you'll never want to be restricted to that. But you should. I feel like it should be a good thing that you're able to spend time with your dad if he's still here, because I would hate for the fact if I just go on a dry spell with my dad and all of a sudden something happened and I wasn't able to speak to him.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about people like who just got angry at their parents one day, then something happened and they're never able to make up with that.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible thing.
I would not be able to.
I was listening to this philosopher's Endocridian, like their handbook, like their belief system, and he talks about like if you truly care about somebody at the end of the day, you shouldn't let small things get in the way of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Right. So like if you realize that your relationship and your bond is more valuable than being upset about whatever they said to you in that moment or what they did or whatever it was, then you should take that into account. Like your relationship with them. How long have I known them? Are they a good friend to me? Have they benefited me? Not in the way of like using somebody, but in the sense of like, are they a good person? You know, if you do the checkup on you, blah blah blah, etc. You take that into account. You think about it, and a lot of things you'd react differently to. 100%. 100%. If someone says something stupid to you out of anger, or maybe you're drunk and you and your homie get in a fight, you might never talk again. You might have known him 5, 10 years, whatever it was. Is it really worth never talk to one of your closest friends or whatever that relationship was over being upset because he punched you in the face one time? Like you gotta take into account. Yeah, it hurt. Like, yeah, I mean, but like all that. You know what I mean? The bond, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I don't think. See, I had a conversation with a female one time, and she was very upset with me, or she told me that, I wouldn't say very upset with me, but she told me that, because I told her something about like, me and my homie disagree, or me and my homie get in a fist fight or something like that, we just keep it pushing. Whatever. Respect to him.
That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it pushing. It's
that's something I respect about man. We can put the ones up.
She told me that it's like how could you ever hurt your friend? It's not about that. It's about we're men. We're gonna fight it out and then move on. Keep it pushing.
Respect.
Literally, it's
ain't nobody worth
respect
hell
behind it.
Unless they don't say or do something that's absolutely unforgivable, I don't see no reason why I can't just move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, did you kill somebody in my family? Did you steal from me? Did you rob me? Did you backdoor me? Did you fuck my wife? Like there's very few things that you can really do that are worth me destroying a relationship I have with somebody that if I built a meaningful relationship with.
Exactly. We built something productive. I'm gonna let some bullshit get in the way of our growth.
Right.
Like my relationship with you is separate from my relationship with everybody else, and I hold entirely different value with you than everybody else.
Exactly. 100%.
So let's not let no bullshit, no dumb shit get in the way of our growth.
Yep.
Like, damn, we building something.
For
Yeah,
sure.
applies to women
Literally.
too, like relationships and whatnot too. For sure. You can apply all dynamics.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta think about what she's about.
Yeah, bro. Man.
No, it's well. Another thing is like you
Fuck
can't.
some
Too lean, bro. Too lean.
Get off the camera, loser.
He's right in the middle. Got the perfect lighting.
Yeah.
Fixing a wingspan,
Definition.
everything. He said,
Hey.
"Oh yeah, I gotta stretch, bro."
Hey, look, dog, my back hurt. Alright. Yeah, my posture fucked up. Ugh.
No, but seriously though, like it's important to like. I don't know. We talked about this for sure on the podcast too. We probably talk about this too much, but like, also pay attention to them very closely though, because you don't want to make the mistake of like thinking, oh, we can just push past this, and what if that person's still hung up on that and they treat you differently and they fuck you over in the
Then don't
future
talk
or
to
something.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I feel like
No, no, no,
they're
but
little
don't let them
things.
get the. I'm saying you have to like
If
be able
someone's
to
like
pick
that
up on the
sensitive-
energy so you can cut them
Yeah,
off
of course,
before they
don't be
do
observant,
so.
Don't be ignorant to the fact of
Yeah.
the relationship. I'm not saying because of a bond, be ignorant to things they're doing to you. If someone's plotting on you, obviously take that into account. Because like I said, you gotta take things into account, of course. But like I said, if someone's arguing with you or something silly and I call
Yeah.
you a mean name or I say something you dislike with me, or your political belief or whatever it is, I'm just gonna say political belief.
Yeah.
Because that causes a lot of like, disagreements or whatever else. You can know someone for a long time, and they can say something you disagree with politically, and that just destroys a bond. Like I've known a lot of girls that disagree with a guy I know, or even me personally disagree with like something I say, or something that when we're talking about something, and they just don't rock with me anymore because of that. And it's like it's kind of silly, and I'm like I've known you since 7th grade, and it doesn't like make me upset, but it's kind of silly. I mean I've talked to you since 7th grade, and you get upset because I said that something you don't agree with politically. Nothing that affects our relationship dynamic, nothing that affects my everyday life with you. Nothing that affects anything to do with me and you, our bond, our relationship, anything. You're just gonna, you know what I mean? Throw it out the window. It's crazy. People there. So.
No, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. That in terms of people plotting on you, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I want to get to the point, like for me,
Yeah.
to the point where I can, like I said earlier, when you talking
Yeah,
about like the
right.
chessboard and looking
Yeah.
from outside, I want to be
Right.
like be able to see that shit happen and be like, damn, that's tough, and move on. Like damn, you really fucked me over. Maybe okay, if you like destroy my whole life, I might have to get my
Yeah.
get back. But
Of course.
but like,
a tooth for a tooth.
but like if you just do some crazy shit, say you fuck a girl I'm talking to, or just some shady shit, like maybe like you buy some shit, say like I'm looking at a chain I want to buy and you buy that shit over me, I'm not gonna give a fuck. Like
Oh, whoa, those are two completely different circumstances.
I know.
Hold up. I'm just saying. I'm saying. I have two completely different reactions. I have
in
two
terms of
completely
value.
different
In
reactions.
terms, okay, hear me out.
Okay, but you.
In terms of value, okay, so in terms of, okay, I gotta read.
If your
I gotta
girl,
read.
if your girl's willing to cheat on you with another
Exactly,
man, she is
that's
not
where-
worth
No.
That's
I'm
not
not saying
I would
that.
want.
I'm not
my
saying
girl
that.
cheating me. No, right off the jump.
No, I mean
my
like
girl
just
cheat,
in the
and
same
no,
in the
then
same
break up
realm
with
of
her.
things.
Yeah, but I'm not
But-
gonna push past that. I'm gonna try and get my ones, and then I'm gonna cut them both off. That's cool. But like I'm not. But
I
versus
can't
the
get
chain,
mine.
versus the
I can't
chain,
do that.
I'm not gonna try and get my ones or anything. I'm gonna be like, oh, that's you, bro. Like I don't care. Like if he buys the chain I want,
No, I mean
I'm gonna
like
say,
think
I'm gonna
about
say,
like
oh,
this
that's
like
cool.
a
That's
this
cool.
like
I'm
a
gonna go find
$1,000
different
chain that you've been working like for weeks for. And
I'm
like,
gonna tell Hutch to make a new one.
Hey, R.I.P. Hutch. R.I.P.
Hey,
Hutch.
Rip Hutch.
I don't know who that is. I'm trying to go in the
Hey, just
jewelry
know
industry.
Rip Hutch.
Someone from Detroit.
Oh, for real?
Hey, murder.
Oh yeah, I saw that shit. I saw that shit on like Metro Detroit News.
Jeweler? Okay.
Metro Detroit News is so fucking.
And I'm
wild.
trying to get in
Give
a
me
jewelry scene. That's tough. All right, whatever. Back
No,
to
bro,
it.
it's-
What I was
be
saying.
careful. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that little bit of this along the same line of things. I want to be able to look from behind, like let's say like you know how people be like talking about
Pause.
masturbation. Be like, I want to imagine myself to like the right of me and be like, damn nigga, you don't really care about that because you're on a different type of timing. Like,
Yeah.
like you don't really care about that. Oh, that the women come and go, people come and go.
Yeah, for sure.
Fucking like even that person you had if you found some type of value from that person's relationship, I personally would cut that person off. But hey, if y'all getting some work in together, keep that business separate because like y'all gotta be working towards something. especially if say you and that person in a business relationship and they think you wronged them or something and you didn't especially try to wrong them.
I think it's very important to keep business and like keep personal, especially in a situation
Exactly.
like that. Like, and then on top of that, bro, just you can't let situations like that even arise in the first place, especially about a bitch, because a lot of time you'll see like people like they'll be in like business cahoots together, and then they'll fall apart about something stupid like that, bro.
Yeah, that's
Like you can never let that happen. Like y'all should have been communicating to never let that happen. Like you need to care so much about what you're doing that you're gonna communicate everything. You guys are gonna understand, make it
right.
smooth,
That's
no
the
matter
point I
what.
want to get to. Just be like, just be able to see it from the outside and not give a fuck. Just be able to know what things are gonna reflectively, what things are gonna impact me and what things aren't going to.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
You know, obviously some things are gonna be harder to process, but I feel like that's the important thing, to be able to step past those situations like ain't shit happened.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
I think it's,
That's how I feel.
I think a lot of times it's hard in the moment to take account of the situation and if it's really worth to react the way you're reacting. Like if someone says something to you or does something to you or something happens that you have no power over or power controlling, in the moment it's hard to not get upset or get angry, but in reality it's not worth it. It's not worth you hurting yourself or whatever it is, but doing something dumb that can hurt your future or whatever it is by posting something, saying something, whatever.
Saying some,
Yeah.
letting things linger in your mind.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I had a spell like a while ago.
Eat you up too.
Yeah.
That's just not worth it in reality. In the long run, it's not worth it at all. If you really take a second.
Yeah,
think about
the
it.
best thing to do, like, and I genuinely, Issa, you're the one who taught me this, bro. Just literally removed them. Like you told me earlier this year about something. You told me to block. That's a good idea, bro. Literally block so you don't even think about the possibility of them coming back into your life.
See, for me,
Because
the
otherwise they're
challenges,
controlling
don't
you.
even
They're
block.
controlling
You
you.
can unadd. I'm trying not to block. I'm gonna try to go my whole life without blocking.
I don't really see the difference. It kind of depends on which button. I
Yes.
just feel like
Oh,
like-
okay, maybe.
I don't really block girls anymore, but I'll block a girl if they follow, like keep trying to talk to me.
Yeah, I
That's
block
what I
just
do.
because
Okay, that's fair.
I get annoyed. I get annoyed talking to people. So when you're blowing up my phone,
Okay, if you get your phone blown up, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. You block the motherfuckers. But
Like we're not gonna say no names, but the girl that we were talking about earlier, right?
Uh-huh.
She used to like make fake phone numbers and stuff like that.
that's fucking
And
something.
like
Jazz,
after I
man.
block her number, or like make fake Instagram.
stop
like,
the name drop, Jello.
And like different
you name dropped.
and, like, she was like,
I
wow.
don't think it picked
like,
up.
she was crazy,
Okay, good.
crazy, bro. Like I had to block her.
Oh shit.
Then she made new numbers.
Damn, you
I
really like
block
that.
those.
No, block's a good function. I like the block button, man, because a lot of the time, bro, I'll be like over a situation and like they will, bro. People want to like
Making
keep on
new numbers
yeah,
is crazy. That didn't even resonate. that
yeah.
that shit didn't process.
Wrong.
It's so much
Yeah.
effort.
I don't even know
It's so
how the
much
fuck
effort.
to make a new phone.
They use like a weird
You
app.
can,
or
yeah, you can
something.
go to like websites and do it and
Yeah.
stuff.
That shit's weird.
You
Just
can't
spam
block the
people.
numbers either because it doesn't recognize as like whatever. Like it's
We don't really be talking about how women be down bad.
And
dog.
plus, if you do block the number, what's stopping them from making another number?
That's what I was saying too. I would block the number, then she just make a new one.
That's
So
crazy.
like, what's the point of blocking the number? She's
Like
just
at
make
that
a
point,
new
how
one.
can you not just like get the hint that they don't want to fucking talk to you?
If they don't care. They don't care. That's why you gotta
Yeah,
block.
it'd
You
be
block
like-
one.
I feel like I hate that situation, like where you, like even like from both genders or both whatever the fuck, two partners in a relationship. The fact that you this person is you're so dependent on this person's happiness that how they feel with you is determining how you feel. Like shit, like you can care about somebody and care about how they feel. Being an empath is one thing, but like letting that person, just because that person don't want to mess with you, letting that person dictate your whole state of being is crazy.
Yeah, sure, I get
I don't know.
that. Unless they're my partner.
He said they gotta be obsessed now. That's crazy. But
No, I think like super obsessive like partners, and especially like making new numbers is something I see a lot, bro. It's actually surprising. Like I've had I've had people who were literally just friends of mine talking.
has
so
making a new number ever worked ever?
No.
Well,
Has
the
that
issue
ever
is that
Well,
people don't know how to resolve conflict.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of girls. I've had to help them deal with situations where their ex is like blowing them up, and they're like, "Bro, what do I do?" And I'm like, "Leave me alone, man. I don't know what to, I don't know how to
what
help
the fuck
you."
you do? Get a restraining order. I don't
Yeah.
know.
The big issue is I feel like communication. People don't know how to properly communicate. Like for example, like I might have been wrong in my situation right at the time, but in my head it was like I said what I said. There's nothing else for me to say to you about the situation at hand. And you don't want to communicate, you just want to react type of way. What is the reason for us to keep talking? Was like the point of a further dialogue. If you're just gonna scream and be upset instead of getting to a further point, finishing this issue. You know?
I feel like that's an important skill though.
Yeah, communication is so important. That's why I remember I was saying about my paper.
Yeah.
Last paper is senior year. That's what I did on social emotional development, and that plays like such a big role in your person. Like people don't understand that communication plays such a big role in every aspect in your life when it comes to like social things. And even with yourself, like being able to like not talk to yourself. I don't want to say talk to yourself, but like being able to like understand how things are, and like to comprehend and like break things down that are hard to deal with, like in depth.
I feel like that's gonna be an interesting
loss.
conversation with whoever like person you go out with. I'm gonna make sure that's a part of our conversation.
You have to let them know. That's a big thing with me now is that like if I truly want to be with you and build something with you, like I want to like if we're gonna do this, I'm gonna sit down with you. We're gonna talk about it. If you truly care about me, we're gonna explain like how I want our relationship to be, how we're gonna be in the future, how it should be. And like of course things change, things come up, whatever it is. And I'm not saying that I'm gonna be a dictator. I want her to tell me too. Like if you feel a certain way about something, I want you to let me know. Like if you want to do something in the future, so a different way, like I would want to know that ahead of time. You know what I mean? If you want to communicate a certain way, if you're like, oh, I'd rather do this or do that, okay, that's fine. You know, I just want to know ahead of time so we're both on the same page.
Yeah. No, I had that issue before. Communication, I ain't gonna lie, that's why me and my ex fell out.
It's hard. Communication is hard.
It's very hard, especially with somebody that like you feel so comfortable with. You feel like you don't have to communicate, but you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to. You have to make sure everything cool because you don't never know what the person's thinking.
Because like, bro, like especially like in my case, this was a person that I genuinely would be like prepared to spend the rest of my life with if it came down to it. Like no lie, seriously. And you know, it's hard like to communicate sometimes, bro. We get so wrapped up in like day to day, just talking about whatever. We're not genuinely talking about our feelings or where we're at, and like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just. You get, I don't know, you wrapped up, lose track, and it's the worst thing, man. But I think there's value in,
Fucking thing,
we're just rebuilding the legs,
He's breaking some shit over and put it back together.
Nah, seriously though, but no, like, oh god, lost thought. What were we talking about?
Relationship,
communication.
Oh yeah, get so wrapped up, stop talking about communication. I think the most important moments a lot of the time that I will find is when you do have fights. Like fights are the most like constructive thing ever, especially in a good relationship. Not a toxic fight.
It depends on how you like have the dynamic. Like
Well,
if you have a relationship where you could communicate in a fight, or like if it gets to that point, but it should never get to that point if you have good communication skills. Like you shouldn't have to be where you blow up and then talk about.
Okay, well, here's the difference though. Like I'm talking about like a good because I've had both. I had all right. So I had a fight that ended my relationship, which wasn't even really a fight.
Right.
It was just like a blow up, and then okay, we're done.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that what I say is like a super negative fight. But I've also had super constructive fights where like. Yeah, we were arguing and talking about stuff, but it made us realize what both of us want, and we talked about it, and we're like, you know, we came together at the end, and we were like, actually, I like you more as a result. You know what I mean?
Sure. I feel like there can definitely be like good to come out of it. But like bro saying, me and him are on the same page with it. I should never get to that point in like in a relationship.
When you're communicating, you should be like, I should always, you know, not a low tone of voice, but you should be able to dial it down and be like, hey, let's talk about this. Since we're
I'm talking about more so over text though. This was over text, so it's a little bit different. Definitely, voice tone was not involved.
Well, even
it was like,
it
it didn't even reach.
I mean, you can still be like
it didn't even reach all
passionate about
caps.
something.
That's what I'm saying. It was like
if it gets to paragraphs, it's not the same as I won't call it a fight. I mean,
it's
over
hard.
text.
Text is hard.
definitely a conflict for sure.
Yeah, okay,
like,
it's some
like
type
a
of conflict.
That we were heavily disagreeing.
But if y'all still being articulate and y'all not just screaming at each other, then it's still constructive.
Text, I do not like arguing or communicating about serious like situations over text. I'd rather you call me or FaceTime me or be in person.
If I get like a large text, I'm probably gonna end up calling you.
Yeah,
because it'd be like, hey, what's up? Let's talk about it now.
Hearing someone's tone of voice and how they react to something changes everything.
Sure.
Like, like when you hear someone say something, it changes it. Like when you say something to somebody like, oh, like I don't like what you're doing, right? If I say it like that, or I don't like what you're doing, and I say it in an aggressive way or upset, you don't know how to read that in a text. Like, how to take things.
No, I honestly wish like when I was having, or like during that time, like when I was having the fights with that certain person, that I kind of wish I could go back and like just call them. Like if I was in that moment, you're right, bro. I should have. You know that's smart. Like because I'm the same way. I hate texting. I can't say what I'm saying over texting.
Yeah,
I sound stupid.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like if I could go back and I could just like call them and then talk about it over a call as opposed to like a text, I feel like that situation could have gone completely different. It would not be as much of an issue, and you know what I mean. We could have resolved it a lot more.
100%.
But yeah, no, that's smart.
I mean,
that made me realize that I'm definitely gonna try and do that in the future. Like if I have
relationships,
conflict
for
over
sure.
with somebody over text, I'll just call them. And be like, all right, let's talk about
You
it.
should, like me and bro were talking about, should never really get to that point. If you like, it does not like you to like sit there and talk about everything, like every aspect of your relationship. But there should be a basic guidelines that you already know each other if you're in a relationship, and there should be a basic guidelines of what you expect from each other, obviously as partners. But like explain like communication, like what you expect from your partner is like in communication. Hey, if you're upset with me and you don't like something I'm doing, sit down with me and tell me like, hey babe, I don't like that you've been going out late like recently. I don't like that, like it makes me feel uncomfortable and blah blah blah. And if I truly care about you as a partner, I'm not gonna go out anymore at that time. I'm gonna tell you like, oh like you know like I'm gonna give you a justification, whatever it is, but I shouldn't be giving you an excuse or trying to do it again. If you're not comfortable with it, I shouldn't be doing it as your partner. You know what I'm trying to say? And things like that. And you should first communicate, explain that to your partner. Hey, if there's something you're not comfortable with or I'm not comfortable with, we should be able to do for like as your partner. If you truly love and care about me, you should do that for me, right? Like I'm not gonna go hang out with a bunch of girls if my girl doesn't like me hanging out with women. If that's her, she doesn't. It's not like I'm gonna have sex with these women or do things with these women, but it's out of respect. You know what I mean? She's not comfortable with that, I'm not gonna do it. And if you communicate these things like that, 100% your argument's gonna be so much. I'm definitely plan on that in my next relationship to get that.
Yeah.
being able to talk about that, it's just so essential. Like
it's so
communication
very,
is so
very
essential, and it comes
very
in different forms. Like you can communicate through body language. Like if we're in a setting together, and say she's sitting next to me, and I can see she's kind of like not comfortable. I'm gonna ask her about it, and maybe not in front of everybody, but we're gonna go elsewhere. I'm gonna talk about it too, and we're gonna get to the bottom of it because I care about how this person's feeling in the situation. Like communication is so essential, and just like I said.
Changes everything.
Yeah, you gotta make sure those around you and those who you care about are okay at all times.
Like we were talking about earlier about impactful things. Communication can be such an impactful thing in a relationship. Just you sitting there and telling your partner like, hey, I really love and care about you. Yes, please give me more water. I really love and care about you, and I don't want you doing this because of whatever else. And if they sit down and explain to them why you're not comfortable with that, or whatever it is, I'm sure 9 times out of 10 they're gonna love you more for that, and like for whatever your reasoning is, and they're gonna understand now why you're like that, or why you feel that way, or why you think that way. And it's gonna change everything. Instead of them being angry about it, or upset about it, or reacting this way, they're gonna be understanding and compassionate if they really care about you.
Right. When you build that, you get to that deeper mental level.
Yeah,
with,
deeper
with
relationship.
whoever your partner is. Those talks are important.
Yes,
you get to see a new part of your partner, and they get to. They get to see a new part of you.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, in my opinion. A beautiful thing.
Yeah, and even say that relationship doesn't last, you're always gonna have that respect for that person because they were able to do that for you.
100%. 100%. Like there's some things I wish I could go back and do differently because I feel like now as a more mature person, I didn't give the person enough respect in the relationship. Not that I did. I'll take account and say I did do some things that were wrong, and I shouldn't have maybe said or maybe done like the way I was. Maybe I was like. Maybe I should have communicated better, like I was saying earlier. Like I have better communication instead of just be like, oh, whatever, it is what it is. I'm not gonna deal with that. You know what I mean? And like maybe I did do that in the past, and that's not good, right? But I really wish I could go back and just say to them like, if I could say anything, I'm sorry how I communicated with you. I wish I could have talked things out better.
Wish we could have done things better.
Yeah,
wish we could have made more progress together.
Yeah, not that I want to be with that person again,
right.
or whatever it is. I feel like, but if I was able to do it again, I would have such a different relationship and bond with them.
Yeah.
Like a lot of negative relationships.
Like you would have had a better time with me if I had this.
Yes,
together.
100%, 100%. Not that like I feel like I did something wrong to you or we had a bad time, whatever it was, but I definitely feel like I could have been more beneficial to you as a person. Maybe helped you grow. You know what I'm trying to say? Maybe helped you change your perspective in life for a more beneficial way. You know?
Yeah. All right, we agree on that.
Yeah.
You agree on that. Always trying to go. Make some new moves.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like that notion that you get as you grow as a person, you can always bring more out of people.
Yeah,
like I'm understanding more things now. I'm able to share that with the people around me.
Yeah.
Like even if it's a significant other, a friend, my father, my sister, my mother, anybody, I get to bring something new to the table.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people have been talking like as of late, like about what what your what people bring to the table, and like people, you know, getting in women's face about how they don't bring anything to the table. I feel like it's everybody's looking at the base value stuff, like what.
silly stuff, silly shit.
Yeah, silly stuff.
Like how much you make a year, or what are you doing right now? How much do you weigh? How tall are you? Are you like? I mean, attraction, of course, is gonna matter. Base attraction is gonna matter.
Yeah,
But
of
like-
course.
But like, it's more important. I feel like, I mean, at least in my perspective, if you can like, if someone's like attracted to you, I feel like if you truly care about someone, they're gonna be. If I feel like in my mind, when you care about someone, you truly love that person. There's no one that compares to them. There's no one that could like reach their beauty. If you like really have that deep bond with somebody. You know?
For
No,
sure.
I'm genuinely the same
And
way.
to
Like
bond
so
with
deep
somebody.
down. That's why it's so hard for me to even like the vast majority of girls I talk to. It's hard for me to even find feelings for them because I'm genuinely that way. Like if I'm with a girl and like I'm with the point to where I say I'm gonna date you, I'm looking at it go like.
Forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, look at.
Oh, we die and we still together.
Yeah, we're going to heaven.
Genuinely.
We're walking up to God together.
Yeah, nah, I don't
What's
care.
that
Wife.
about?
Genuinely. Wife for life and more.
Alright, she go to hell, I'm coming too.
Yeah, exactly. That's my wife, but she more than my wife. She my wife past life, bro. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like it goes deeper than that, bro.
Bro,
That's
you
what I
ride or
expect.
die.
Like,
It's a rider.
yeah, like genuinely. When I'm with a girl, and it's like that, nobody else is attractive to me. Genuinely
That's
not
like-
attractive at
yeah.
all. Like they just look stupid.
Yeah, people
Like,
take such like the base things into account, and when you really grow to know somebody or truly know somebody, like some girls, I don't want to say, like, it's mean to say this, right? And I probably shouldn't say this, but like as a younger, there's a lot of girls that like I would probably not talk to, and as I got to know them more as we grew up, I found them so much more attractive.
Oh my
and
God,
so
yeah.
much more, not just physically, but like how they were, and how they were emotionally, and how they acted, and how they carried themselves, and how
because
they
a lot of like
I love the confidence in something.
they
like
matured,
that.
man. They're women now. Like
Yeah,
real.
like, I'm like, you
like-
really a young lady now. I really fuck with you.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like I think it's attractive. You know what I mean? Like when you like can
Yeah.
talk to somebody on a deeper level. Or
I
just,
like-
communication. Like we're talking about communication and skiing. I feel like it spreads into so many.
Smart
things.
women are
So
the
many
most
things.
attractive thing in the world. Smart women, I swear to God.
oh my god, I love
Like,
an intelligent
bro,
woman.
if I can't talk to you for 5 hours straight over text,
Oh my last girl was
That shit is so attractive,
smart.
y'all.
She was so smart. She was a 4.0. She got invited to like a bunch of med contests and stuff like that all over the country and stuff.
Yeah, high value.
Yeah, she was a very high value woman. She's a beautiful
Sometimes.
woman.
my ex was about to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Lawyer, she wanted to be a writer too.
My ex
All
is
sorts
gonna
of
be
like
a-
aspirations.
My
Like,
ex is gonna be a heart surgeon, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna do it like 100%. I mean, she's like super driven, super like a strong woman, like 100%.
That's
I hope she
really
does it.
nice.
I really hope she does it. It's a great thing.
Sir.
I like that you're like that though. That's cool. I'm the same way. Like I can look at like an ex or somebody like that, and I can be like, you know, good for you. Like I hope
Yeah, I got respect for
Yeah.
that person.
Well, cause like
Because I know a lot of people who get bitter, which I think is kind of lame to be
I
real.
feel like I might get bitter about some things. Like if they, like I said earlier, we talked about this in the
Go in the
car.
car.
Yeah. Well, I might get bitter about
A
some
little
silly-
spiteful.
like a little spiteful about some shit. Like if I like they do something that like
Yeah,
really
they
hurt-
wrong you. It's
Like
just
they're
different.
like say like me and her talked about something, and she had like this guy friend, right? And she was like talked to, and then she stopped talking to him because we were like dating, or whatever it was, or because of the situation. And then she gets with that friend, or like I see like him post her or something.
Yeah.
Even if they're not having sex, even if it's like just like a friendship thing, in my head instantly I'm like, yo, like what's going on?
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah, why are you talking to him again? Like, you know,
It's kinda
yeah, sketch, it's a sketch. And like, you know, I have no right to be like whatever,
Yeah.
but still, I'm still gonna be like, I gotta get past that, of course. But
scary.
that's how I am, bro. It's just fucked up in the crib. But no, I was saying I really like hope good on her because our relationship ended in a negative way, and then I never like there was never a negative thing. And she's like, I'm pretty sure she's with a new guy now. But I think it's a beautiful thing. She's a beautiful person. We had really good communication. And it was just more. I feel like honestly, the relationship was more on my end. Like I was in a good place at the time. Didn't really like have really good communication with her and the aspects of explaining how I felt. Right? Like we talked about like what we wanted from each other, but I didn't explain fully like how I felt about certain things because I didn't feel like whatever at the time. And so like, that was like a big, big what's the word for it? It held us back a lot. You know. And I felt like at this time that it wasn't beneficial for me to like hold her back too. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure.
So like that's why we broke up. So like, in my head, if I'm not helping you as a partner and I truly care about you, and I'm just holding you back if you're upset with me because of like
Yeah.
maybe I'm not doing enough, like communicating enough in the sense of like literally, like I was just maybe like at that time I wasn't texting her enough. I didn't want to FaceTime her at night because I was tired. I just wanted to go to bed after work. And I didn't make that time for her at that time. That's one thing I will take into account. I didn't make enough time for her because like, I was working all the time. I was working with my father, working 12-hour shifts. You know what I mean? Wake up and go to work. Work 12 hours shift hard labor, going to sleep, man. You know what I mean? I'm working all day. I can't text you. I'm working. It's my dad's labor. my dad said if someone's like on their phone, they're stealing from him. Like he's like one of those type of very hardworking guy. I cannot sit on my ass. I'm not joking. Like say I'm doing like outlet like that's on the floor like that. I have to like squat like this because if you're sitting, it makes you work slower. It's true. It's true. It is like all these things he's teaching me, and like he's not like a mean boss or something, but he wants you to be efficient, wants you to be hardworking.
Now working with like older men in your family is a different breed, bro. They will train you. Like
they will lock you in.
That made me a harder worker.
I'm so organized with my work now because of my father, my grandfather. Like with the two of them, my father's like the most efficient man I think I've ever met when it comes to work. He'll do like something that should be taking like 3 days, 4 days. Like when he even like talks to like his other like workers, and he'll just go there and like work there. Like his workers leave, he'll crank that bitch out. Like 2 days. You know what I'm trying to say? Because it's his money and it's his job. He's like takes more time. He's losing money. In reality,
that drive.
Like
that drive to get it going.
Yeah, it's like, the people don't take that account. No one's gonna care about your business like how you care about it. And it's you know, he's gonna go do that shit. It's crazy.
That's respectable. That's definitely respectable. I love building relationships with people like that.
Yeah.
People who really got their drive going.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely benefited me a lot. Yeah. It helped me grow as a person. My dad.
You get to take new things from those people too.
Yes,
like,
for
hey,
sure.
Maybe I'm not doing enough. Like, shoot, you doing all that. Shoot, let me upgrade myself, and I'll start doing more too.
100%. Dude.
You evolve from that.
Yeah, dude. Like we were saying earlier about taking shit into account. If you just like take into account like other people's like things, what they're doing, and like how they live their life.
Yeah.
And, like, you don't want to be a follower, but if you take some aspects into some shit, like.
Yeah, like we was talking about downstairs. We was talking about like you can take little gems out of things. You may not agree with everything that's going on, but you can take those little things and add them to yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Like one thing that he learned, like he taught me, is that if you're working, don't work super. Like obviously work hard. Don't like kill yourself, but be efficient and smart when you work and organize. Okay, right? That makes everything easier for you in the long run. And I never thought about that. Like it sounds simple, something so simple. Like you just put all your tools together. You put all your things together. So when you leave, you can pack it up easy. When you're looking for something, you know where everything is. You put your tools back in the same place so you know where it's at. Right? You do shit, organize and clean the first time. When you say you run in wiring and you do some shit like that. My father's an electrician, owns one company. Right?
Yeah, I got you.
So when you do that, say I'm like wiring a building, right? Running the main line. If I do it straight and make everything, all the lines clean the first time, then he doesn't have to. I don't have to go back and do it when the inspector comes and looks at it. There's no issue. My father is like honestly, he's so good with his work that if he knows some inspectors in certain like cities, because they have like certain inspectors for certain cities or whatever, that they'll come out and they know they see it's my father's job site and they see in the paper it's my father's job site. They'll like talk to him and then they don't even like look around really. They just like they'll look at like one building, everything's good. Because they know how he is. Like, cause he's so efficient, so organized with everything. And he's like, that's what he does. That's how he works, and that's just how it is. One time, finished. Look, it's done. And it saves you for so much headache, so much energy. Like, you know what I mean? If you do it one time efficiently, right, it's finished. You're done.
Not back on taking little gems and stuff from things, bro. It's called constructive criticism for a reason. You're supposed to use these little bits and pieces that people use and construct something. You're supposed to add together to who you are and be able to build off that. There's a reason
always building.
Yeah, for sure. Always. Stagnation means you're on the decline.
Yes,
sir.
Always going up. Always making progress.
If you're not growing, you're not going.
You're not going. I like that one.
Life not stopping for you. You gotta keep it pushing. You gotta keep it pushing. You always want to be working towards something that you believe in. I'd be like, how do I explain it? Like, what was it like? I got it deep into procrastination mid this year. With how do I explain it? Like during basketball season, I was really not slacking, but I would take my time on certain things, and I know now that's not what's good for me because I when I stop procrastinating, I really get into procrastinating, and I can't make that a habit. I need to make that change immediately, especially since I'm going to college. Like making that little change needed to happen quite literally soon.
Do you feel you made the change?
I feel like I made it now. I feel like once I get there, I'm gonna be able to be like, okay, from this time to this time, I'm gonna be studying, and then I'm gonna spend this time to this time.
I'm like, that's why I asked him. I was like, did you genuinely make that change? Because for me, bro, I could say that okay, I might do stuff a little bit more now, but. I'm not there, bro.
See, that's something my dad gave me. Like, he always been like, as soon as you get home, you do your homework. That's something I would always do up until this year. I'd be like, that's something I locked in. Like, I love doing my shit early. That's why part of the reason why I like getting up early. I like doing stuff before everybody else start doing shit. I don't know. So it might be a little toxic, but I feel like, hey, I got an edge on
No, that's
everybody
not toxic
who
at all.
speak
That's
right now.
that's productive, bro.
It's a
Be
great
proud
A,
of that.
B.
That is not toxic.
Yeah.
Alpha
I
male.
feel like it's that progress right there.
Yes, sir.
Like shit, y'all niggas sleep, bet. But hey, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I think I made a change. If I didn't make a change, I'm gonna make the change then. I'll be like, all right, I was capping before, but I ain't capping right now.
A big thing that I started doing this year is to like take account. Like I keep saying take account, but take account of my situation in the sense of like I would just be sitting in bed and like I enjoy what I'm doing, like playing the game on my phone, watching YouTube, watching Netflix, whatever it is. But like we were talking earlier, we keep talking about staying in the car, but like you sit in the car, you're talking about I'm just sitting there not doing shit. I'm just killing brain cells, scrolling through whatever I'm doing.
No, that's the worst feeling.
Yeah,
Genuinely, that's the
especially when
worst
you like sit there and actually think about what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like go to the gym, go outside, but at least you'll talk to your friends or like you know what I mean, do something.
Every
could
single
be building
time I'm
relationships.
sitting at home bored, nothing to do,
Yeah.
I'll literally open up the computer. I'll go through my games. I'll go through everything I have, and I'll realize I'll just sit there. Nothing's fun. None of this is productive, bro. I'm literally wasting time. I'm so far gone. I can't even get myself to waste time anymore.
I have like
That's how like deep in it you are. Like you realize that, and it clicks, and it's like, all right, I'm getting off my ass.
This year I've been like that. I'm having an issue with taking accountability and like doing shit like how with you are, I'm procrastinating and shit a lot. Like when it comes to like even studying, I'm like fuck, bro. Like I don't want to do this shit. Like when I'm doing it, it's not that bad. But it's like this taking this first step and starting that is like very hard for me. I definitely have to get better with that and work on it for sure. For sure.
I wanna make sure I don't bullshit.
Yeah.
Make sure nobody bullshit. Cause like shit, you be sitting there and you like, hey, I watched that video. Maybe that's enough. Or maybe like I looked through the book, I skimmed the book, I'm cool. And I know that's not enough for me. And I gotta recognize that that's not enough for me. Cause if I sit there and tell myself it's like that, I'll believe it. But it's not gonna my brain not gonna believe it. I'm still not gonna remember material. I know damn well I don't remember the material, even though I may have skimmed it. I know I don't know it, so go over it again. Like those are the things you gotta like discipline yourself to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Like shit, like
this one is very important.
yeah. Like I said, we talked about this on the podcast before. Motivation, well, gets you so far. You get that little bit of drive. Oh, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, and I'm ready. But what you gonna do when you don't feel like doing it?
No, bro. It's crazy because like I know this is kind of just like an analogy or like an example, I guess, of it. Like I've heard that people talk about before. Like when people, for example, in the gym, right? They'll tell you that, like Issa, today, bro, you were doing it. This is an extreme example. Like when you're doing a heavier weight and you think you're gonna tap out, and somebody tells you, "Oh, you got a few more." You start pushing for that few more, and you realize you're like, wait a second, I got a lot more. We gonna keep on going. You know what I mean? That motivation, like
something kind of similar happened to me like the other day at the gym. I was trying to just get a new max on the bench. I asked my guy to spot me. I'm trying to do 210, and I don't get it the first time, and he's like, "Oh, just give it 2 weeks," and just talking to me about how like you're just not ready for it yet. And I'm like, "Nah, let me try again." I get it. I go down there. I go do it again, and I get it up like it's fucking nothing. Like little to no struggle.
That fucking adrenaline. that fucking
like,
brain
and
dopamine.
yeah, because your brain realizes it's like, wait a second, bro. Because you think you can't because you stress out about the number more than you stress out. Because in the gym, bro, when you move that PR up 5 pounds, it feels like a lot. Yeah. It really feels like a lot, bro. But when you realize at the end of the day this shit is 5 pounds, you know what I mean? There's people putting 200 on top of. There's people putting 600 on top of what I'm moving right now. Like then it clicks. It's like we can do this, and like everything engages, bro. Like if there was a way to Isa, I think I've talked to you about this before. If there was a way to click your brain into like that mode or like adrenaline mode all the time and unleash your full strength, you would be insane. Like no. Here's the thing. Yeah. If you used it too much, but if you were smart with it and used it properly in the gym, you could push past certain points of exertion and get the right like.
Not me. I'm pumping 24/7 adrenaline pump. When I feel going through my veins, I'm gonna be loaded.
The muscles destroyed in half a year, 3 months max.
Yeah. We're gonna get the muscle
free training.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I gotta get big.
Alright, y'all, 500 pounds, 2 weeks.
Alright, get new personal best day in
He's just gonna
1K.
get dysmorphia and muscular dystrophy from that shit.
Yeah, look at
It'd be worth it for the 1 year of my life.
Hey, then you gotta get in the sauna. All that shit just comes off. Like, nah. But I don't know, man.
One of the there's this quote I heard. It was talking about when you're talking about having drive, you have to have like discipline because the only motivation only gives you so far. They're talking about how when you do something sometimes for the greater good, you don't always get a benefit right away.
Mm-hmm.
You never see like there's no immediate benefits to you or like beneficial things that happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you go to the gym every day sometimes for like months until you see like muscle growth. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or like you invest money and you're working hard to grow a business. You used to do that. You used to do that for maybe 3 years. You're not gonna make shit.
Think about this podcast. We've been doing this shit for about a month, and we just restarted. We on YouTube now.
Yeah.
We grew like 26 followers on the fucking on the last thing, but on this, we just started new. We back at it. But we got the
That's my baby.
we got the drive to do it. It's just-
I told you, he's good people.
I mean, I got cool with that.
Yeah, I'm good people. I fuck
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't.
I bet.
I can't, but
You can't.
Oh, you can't. That's it.
Alright, you going home after this?
yeah.
Okay.
I will probably wrap it up in like.
Yeah. What? I think it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
We're at like an hour 20 already.
I was
Oh,
20.
shit.
Yeah, we can go for a few more minutes. But let's get it. Where are we at? Let's get some.
Oh, I never said something about impactful moments.
Oh
I
Yeah,
forgot
I
that.
still have one more left too.
Oh
yeah.
Bro, I told you.
Well, you mentioned it though,
Yeah.
Mr. Finest. Actually, I talked to you about this before.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of crazy that I think he just he taught me, I guess, to have like a deeper thought and that there's more to life than the simple things. And it's just kind of stupid, but as like a young man, I like thought very animalistically. Like I want to get married, I want to have kids.
I wanna fuck, I
I want to like I want to be not like
Yeah.
I want to be like not like I know it kind of sounds stupid, but I want to be like that guy. I guess I want to be like I want to get money. I want to be like just be like a man. I guess quote unquote. But there's other things to life. I mean, like there's these questions I would have, and then he would actually talk to me about them, and like not just like a little kid, like oh people die. It's like sad, He'd be like people die, but what do you think about that? Then? You know, like you understand it's a fact of life, and you go into these deeper questions of the things. And I could ask him. I'd sit after class and talk to him, or in the back of the class while people were taking a test. He'd like not let me take the test. He'd like let me come after school if I wanted to, whatever, or just not make me take it sometimes. Sorry if you get in trouble. Like that's just like, eventually I'd get it done, or whatever. But he's good people. When we talk about these things, like these deeper questions that I'd have, even sometimes like he never tried to like drive me to one way. He would ask me, I mean, like, what do you think? He wasn't like, oh, like for example, I asked him like the conception of a god, which is like crazy to fucking think about. You ask your 9th grade honors biology teacher about that, but we used to talk about such crazy shit. You know what I mean? Like that conception of God and religion and whatnot. And we're talking about this, and at that time, I thought religion was just made to like lead the masses, because a lot of people in my family are like that. That's what they believe. They're agnostic and they believe that religion is something created to like lead men, to lead them one way, or to like try to.
Did you genuinely believe that at that time?
Yeah, at that time, in the essence of like, I thought that people, right, even if there was divine nature, right, and that God was real, that man is corrupt, and man changes God's word, right?
That's something I think about now.
It's
Yeah,
like that telephone game. Right?
Yeah.
Like, how can I believe the word of something written?
I don't want to talk
That
about
were
religion on a
reproduced
podcast.
by man.
Yeah.
We'll go for a long
Well,
time.
yeah,
no. How about we wrap up the important moments question and then call it?
Yeah.
We'll talk about for a long
Yeah,
time.
y'all
know
God, we'll talk a long time about this.
Yeah, we'll be here all night.
Especially
Especially with you.
Yeah, so
Hey, all
an
of us.
interesting thing. I feel like we should get like people with like multiple
Views on it. For
yeah,
sure.
No,
like maybe like
definitely.
a
I
about
love
Christian,
If-
maybe.
if we could do another podcast another time and have the entire thing just be us talking about the religion and perceptions of God, because I swear to God we could go.
I got a lot of things to talk
I'm
about.
a Muslim, but
I got a lot of
for like
thoughts.
3-4 hours.
Even as like a loose, I'm kind of like a loose Christian.
Yeah.
So that would be something interesting to talk about.
I'm Muslim. I would say I'm like a devout Muslim. I have a strong belief in God and like our systems, however you want to like word it, whatnot. But at the same time, I have contradicting beliefs to a lot of other Muslims. So it's like a very controversial thing to talk about. So like a lot of people, like, even like I understand my beliefs, like a lot of other Muslims would not agree with me, even if they're like devout or like you know, whatever it is, because like a conceptualization of like what I believe, and like there's also people like believe different things, like not different things. I should say, in the Quran is only the Quran, and it's when it's in Arabic. Everything else is a translation, different interpretation. Right?
We're getting down the rabbit hole already.
Rabbit hole, right? So like so I don't want you to think that like people like are taking this book and changing the words of it or like saying different things or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But there are sheikhs or teachers that have different ideas and understandings of things. And certain
They
people,
twist the word.
and then not sometimes you can take it like that. Sometimes people twist the words and do like fucked up shit like that's why there's terrorists that claim to be Muslims or not Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a Muslim if you do those types of things, etc. I'm not gonna go into that rabbit hole too.
Mm-hmm.
But they like they'll have a belief system and people will be very strongly like devout to that belief, right? And so they'll believe that other people that believe, even though you believe the same thing as a Muslim, we pray the same way, we practice the same way, they'll think that we're like ignorant or don't understand your religion or your faith because of that thing or those things. And there's a lot of miscommunication and what's the word for a lot of diversion, and I don't want to say diversion in our faith, but that like division in our faith because of that. Yeah, like diversion, division, I should say, division.
No, it's interesting. It's interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Shit.
No, bro.
But
I wish we could have like a large group of people with like all sorts of different religious
Yeah,
like, views and
Hinduism,
stuff, and we
yeah.
exactly. We need like a round table because I can be spirituality, you can be.
We need like the thing is I feel like about spirit like religion.
But they need to be
I feel
people
like
who are
I'm not
capable of
educated
having
enough
these
on
Yeah, that's my
conversations.
thing. I feel
Christianity.
like I feel like I'm not educated enough to like speak on a lot of things, and I might have a conceptualization or understanding something, and they might not be to the furthest level. Or like I feel like also you could have like another Muslim across from me, and me and will debate about a lot of things for a long time. And I don't know if it's like I would assume it's like the same way with a lot of Christian faith.
Yeah, probably. You
Yeah,
got the, you
it's
got
a
the different branches
yeah,
of Christianity.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Different sects.
you got
whatever,
baptism.
religion.
You got
Baptist, right?
yeah, Baptist.
Yeah.
Baptist. You got you know, Catholics. You got the Lutherans. You got I forgot what the other one was, but you got a whole bunch of different people with differing beliefs,
Yeah.
and it's just I don't know.
Like the
It's
same
interesting
base
to see.
level
I feel like
beliefs,
you can
but
still have a
different.
constructive conversation,
Yeah.
but it's just. You know, it's that's definitely it's not gonna be hostile, but it's gonna be a heated little conversation.
I don't get hostile, so as long as everyone else in here
Yeah,
can
yeah,
be
Can remain calm.
remain
Yeah,
calm,
temperamental.
be cordial about our conversation.
Oh, you know.
Me and him go back
Hey,
and forth
hey,
about a lot of stuff for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no like disparity. There's no like.
Yeah, I love conversations like that. Like we have different views, but we're gonna respect each other's views, and we're gonna talk about some new
Hey,
things.
bro, it's gonna be so fire. We gotta do this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
bro.
the main, like, I'm not really super religious, but the main thing that, like, makes me believe there's, like, a God or, like, a higher power is, like, you know, the whole fucking basic shit about science, matter can't be created or destroyed. Then what the fuck created all of this?
Yeah, so the argument I get to people that are like don't believe in God, I should say not agnostic, but don't believe in God or like are atheists, is that not to like you have to follow a faith or religion, but you have to recognize that there's a creator of like everything. There's a creator. of everything.
The world does promote intelligent design. Like
Yeah.
something
So-
made some like this is very interesting how we
Yeah.
like
I
we're
I believe it's the
symmetrical.
Big Bang
Like
Theory.
this is crazy.
The Big Bang Theory, they say, or the Big Bang Theory, I'm so blown. The Big Bang, they say made everything, right?
Yeah.
Right? And so if you think about that, right, you can ask what made that, and of course you can repeat the question, like what made that. But whatever came first is, in our definition, the creator of everything would be to me God. Even if it's not like an omnipotent, all-knowing figure, or like
They would be.
takes a role in everybody's life, or like whatever it is. That still would be like God in like the definition.
Yeah.
Like it created everything. Everything stems from it. All things come from it. You know what I mean? We're all made of matter. And matter, like you said, has no like creation, can't disappear. Like, something started everything. Something built everything. Something stemmed from this one thing. And that is God. Like in the definition of like what I understand to be the definition of God. Something
I
that
usually
created
refer
everything.
to God. I, like kind of like you know he's the most high. He's the highest form, the highest power.
Yeah.
That would be the ideal intelligent designer. Like he don't want to put the wheels into motion to make whatever it is that we're existing in right now. Like the rules, the system, everything that created this is what I would call God, like the manifestation.
So you
of God.
believe like God, like what's the word? Omnipotent, all-knowing being, like it plays a role in like.
Yeah, I feel like that's where my
I believe that
division
too,
from like
personally.
Christianity would be. It'd be like I believe in like the story of Jesus and all that, but like that. I would view God a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Like you know how they view God as like
I don't know. I'm like
in the being. Like I feel like it wouldn't be like that.
I'm all the way spirituality is what
Oh
I
yeah,
believe.
you're
So
spiritually.
like the way I genuinely view it, like I know this, I've explained it to you before, bro. I think the universe, it just happened, and I'm very grateful for it, and I'm very happy that the way everything turned out, because I've explained to you, Issa, before, right? My theory of how stars and planets and stuff are created, and how it all came together, and mass was just floating together, and everything like affected each other. Like, there's a lot of like I understand a lot of like the science of how the universe came together. So to me, it makes sense that this is perfectly possible. Like there's no doubt in my mind. I don't think somebody made it. I think it's completely random, and I'm grateful for it, and I'm so happy. But I do also believe that people are two things. People are a ball of consciousness and a ball of spirituality, and they're two completely different things. Like, and that's what like creates your.
So where does spirituality come from? If you have no, like, you'd say there's no higher being, right?
Yes, but I believe that there's.
So like what? So where do souls go?
You could explain it. You could explain it with quantum physics or whatever. But I think there's forces that affect things. Like you know what I mean. Like I know it's strange, but bro, I genuinely I could believe in ghosts and stuff like that. Like there's other forces out there. Like I'm not saying it's like that.
You
Like
have to believe in not like an organized religion or faith.
no, not like that. Like I think, like there's genuine power in like human spirit, and like things happen, bro. Like it's freaky, but sometimes things happen. I think there's abstract forces that play. Like
existence, what do they call that word?
yeah, I'm also very
I can't remember.
like if I say something, I'm gonna knock on wood so it doesn't come true. Like I believe in that sort of stuff. Like so that goes into like my spirituality, and I trust my spirituality that if I'm a good person to others around me will also be good people, and everybody will. You know what I mean? I believe in like one. Like,
Mr.
like
Fines,
that.
I talked to Mr. Fines about something about like you said to me. It was something interesting. You said even if there was no religion or no God, do you think you should be a bad person?
You
live
told me
any
about this,
differently?
and that messed up your head.
And I fucked my head up. I was like,
Shit,
people are
what's the
like,
rules?
Yeah, like, what's the rules then? Like, why would I be a good person? Like, I know it's like something stupid. Like, I would never like want to harm somebody or steal from somebody or like all these type of things. But in reality, the situation is, if there's no downside to me being like fucking somebody over, right? Like if I
That's
see
the
like
thing, though.
if you see money
What
in
is
a
the
bag, right?
what is the downside to you?
Yeah, like if you see money in a bag, right? Like say like someone left a backpack and you open it, and there's like 30,000 in that bitch.
Mm.
The right thing to do is return it to the police station, because you tell me if you left that money in the train or whatever, you'd be hurt, you'd be down bad, you'd be upset, you want that money back, right? But in reality, if I didn't think about God or like whatever it is, I know it's just fucked up to say, like about the morality of it, and like we'll think about like, oh, like I could go to hell for I fucking steal the $30,000.
I feel like does that?
No, bro, but
Does
here's
that
the thing.
morality
Here's the
come
thing.
back to God?
In my
Like-
viewpoint of it, bro, like my little ball of spirituality prevents me from doing that, because I believe in the greater
No,
good. That's what I
so
trust
the
in.
greater good of morality, like I was saying about Mr.
Yeah,
Fine
exactly.
saying that if it mattered, and like of course, like I thought I questioned myself after that, because at that time I definitely was fucking stealing money.
Yeah.
You know what I say, like 100%. Even now, like it'd be very questionable depending on my situation. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not gonna fucking bullshit. If I'm broke and I have somebody to feed, or family member to feed, or something happen, I'm gonna grab the money. Like keep it a buck.
That's the human's like first instinct. Like shoot, I gotta survive.
Yeah, of course.
If
survival.
I'm down bad and I'm in debt and my family, we about to get our house taken away, the lights going off every now and then, I'm gonna take that money.
Yeah,
Like,
but there's a morality to it. There's I wouldn't steal from somebody, but I would take that money that's in my head, it's not hurting anybody.
Yeah,
Here's the
just
thing.
leaving
Here's
it
the
there.
thing. If I get that money and that money goes to help me later on down the line, I'm gonna try and
Yeah, no, I'm
gonna
gonna
try and give back to people more,
I'm
because
not
I
giving
was
it
just
back.
blessed with that. You know what I mean? Something happened in the universe that made that happen, so I feel thankful for that, and I'm gonna give back.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That's how I am as a person, and that's just the way the way I look at it.
The way your mind works, like
Yeah,
shoot,
bro.
I don't really feel like it's really the right thing to do that. But obviously, you're gonna have to make some sacrifices. Maybe what did that sacrifice be?
A survival life or death situation. If you're trying to feed your kids, that's different. That's a
You know,
different
interesting
scenario.
idea.
Right?
That I'm gonna call back this guy Titus. He said that like you should live to your morals to the fullest extent. You shouldn't talk about your philosophy and your morals, whatever they are. You shouldn't talk about them. You should practice them. You should live by them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, if you believe at the end of the day that like stealing is truly wrong, right? Like I believe stealing is truly wrong. So like, say you came to me as like, I'll look at you as a very close friend, and you're like, bro, I just stole like a shit ton of, I don't know, just taking laptops for example, right? You're like, can you hold these for me, or could you like sell these, whatever? Even though I'm not doing anything wrong, out of my morals and out of my conscience, I should hold to myself and be like, I'm sorry, bro, I can't help you. Even if it's gonna benefit me, or even if it's not gonna hurt me at all, or like if nothing bad is gonna come to me, I shouldn't help you. Because you should hold to your morals. And maybe in the future, as you see that, and you see me being like a good representation, you're like, even though I told you I really care about you, I really love you, brother, but I can't do this for you because it's not right. You might not do that again. You know what I mean? You might take that into account and might think about your situation and think about like, hey, if someone that truly loves me and cares about me won't do this thing, it's wrong. It's truly wrong. You know what I mean? Maybe I shouldn't do that, or maybe I should think about it before I do it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess I'm one way I look at it at least.
Hey Jello, what was your last event?
So, my last event happened about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Oh, also, I do want to say we're about to end the podcast after this. Once he says their last event. Agree with that?
So, I was in, obviously no names, I was in a relationship with this girl for about 2.5 months. And at one point she said, I'm coming to your house. And she asked me like, come outside, like come to the car, like once I'm there, I'm like, yeah, that's like what I do every fucking time. And she's like, no, like come into the car, like we need to talk. I'm like, oh, okay, like. And all of a sudden we start talking, and then we just like, she like guessed up like the whole point of it that she was gonna break up with me. And I'm like, why? Like I'm like getting all sporadic and like in the moment, and I'm like not really being super logical at the time. And then like these words will stick with me for the rest of my life. I remember the exact words. Like, you didn't love me the way I needed to be loved. And I was like, wow. Like, at the time, I was just like, wow. Yeah. And then that super fucked me up for a while. And then I just fucking realized, like, why the fuck am I sad over this shit? I have no fucking reason to be. It was a short ass relationship. Like, there's no reason. And I finally just got the fuck up.
But you get money.
I finally just like, after being like all like little sad boy for those period of a few weeks, I was like, why like my grade, like in that period my grade slipped, and it was towards the end of the school year, so like,
I'm so happy you got out of that. I remember you during that period, bro. You pulled him out, man. I'm so happy.
My grade slipped, and I was just like, this shit's fucking stupid. Like, why am I sad? Like, I have no reason to be. Like, this shit happened. Just, I need to get the fuck over it at this point. It's just stupid.
Yeah. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard. The things that happen, you just gotta grow from them, for sure. You gotta learn. But not repeat the same mistakes. Like, if you, like, realize, like for example, like, I know I said fucked up, and I'm not taking her side or anything, but, like, maybe, like, whatever it was that she said to you, and instead of being upset about it, you just think, I communicate better if I ask your girl, like, whatever it was.
Do you think you got something from those words?
Yeah, do you think you grew from it? Like, do you think, like, thinking back on it,
I think thinking back on it,
instead of being sad,
my kindness was actually a bit taken advantage of.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna say what happened, but like what happened, but she told me about all her exes, and I'm like, these people like really fucked you up, and I like promised her like I'm not gonna do that to you. Yeah, and I didn't do any of that shit to her. I was nothing but kind of respectful. And that shit just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's shitty. It's really shitty.
No,
it's really shitty.
I had something similar. I
feel like once I realized, I was like, she got what she wanted, finally got fucking happy again, and thought she could finally do it by herself, but then she realized she fucking couldn't. Because right as she realized she couldn't,
that's a little.
I don't know. That's what I thought. Like, I thought at the time.
You think she used you in a way?
No, I'm saying like not necessarily used, but like more like take advantage of like the kindness and the respect that I have towards her.
I got you.
And like, and then the rest of the school was a bit awkward because I still had a 2-hour fucking class with her. Hey, this school year I got the same 2-hour class with her because it's a part 2, and then I got a fucking English class with her right after.
That's fucked
so
up. How fucked up is fucked up. That's pretty fucked up.
Hey, after dealing with that, bro, that you have to pull yourself out of that hole, bro, because you gotta deal with her every day.
Yeah, dog.
Facts, but nah, I think one of the worst feelings is when like you being a genuine person gets taken advantage of. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. When we talk about pet peeves, I mentioned that like taking advantage of like a genuine person is one of the worst things you can ever do.
I'm not gonna lie to you. One of my biggest pet peeves with people is like ignorance. Like if you're not gonna think logically about a situation, or at least try to like
like it's understandable if you don't like something I'm saying, right, or like something that's being said, or whatever it is, right. But you have to take into account like the reality of the situation, like what it really is, what really is happening, or we're really
Reflect on
talking.
it.
Yeah, reflect on it. Really see what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like you might say that like for example, a partner might say that like, oh please, like I don't like you hanging out. For example, me, I might tell a girl I don't like you hanging out with guys. And some girls might get upset with that and say it's like whatever, controlling, whatever it might be. But in reality of the situation, if you really think about why I would say that to you, do you see your mother hanging out with random men? Do you see your mother hanging out with guys, like going over guys' houses, going to party with them, blah blah blah. Your moms might go hang out with your girls, go on a girls' night out, but she's not seeing other guys there. She's not, yeah, I mean, whatever. Does your mom text her guy friends? Does your mom? Yeah, I'm trying to say like, these types of things to think about. Like reality, or even if your mom does, not to say that your mom's a bad person if she does, if somebody's mother does do that. I mean, not to speak badly on somebody or ill, but even if they do, if you think about the bigger picture of like what happens 9 times out of 10 when a girl and a man are having like a relationship and a bond, right? They're getting closer and closer, and you talk to them, and they a man a lot of times catches feelings, right?
Yeah.
Or 9 times 10, if you're talking to a girl for a long time with no benefit to you, it's because you want to get something from them.
Exactly.
Like in reality, I'm not trying to throw guys under the bus, but we're all men here. We can take account
We
of
know
that.
we know what a man is thinking.
Yeah, and we can take account of that.
If I'm comfortable with the guy, I will be completely fine with my girlfriend. Like if I know who he is, I've been around him, I trust him, I'll be fine with her. Like going to hang out with them.
I feel like that's
But
an
if-
essential thing, that respect you have for the men.
Yeah,
The
but
man.
if it,
Yeah, essentially.
it's not that I don't trust her. I don't trust him.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like you're like. That's what I was saying. Like people think it's like controlling. That's not something that's controlling you. I want to control you.
It's
Just like,
it's protecting.
yeah, it's like,
bro.
it's stopping.
No. I know. No. All trust me. Like I know it's not really talked about, but hey, girls, all of us dudes have talked to girls who've been through things, bro. We know how bad we are. We know
trust
how
me,
bad
we know
we
we're
are.
evil.
We know
Yeah,
we're evil.
Hey, come on.
And we know that
Niggas be
most
obsessed
other
with
guys don't.
Diabolical.
Diabolical shit. I don't know what niggas be on,
I don't
but
know,
there
man.
be there's some weird Xandor
Hey,
fast.
there's a lot of horrible dudes out there, bro. I ain't gonna lie. 95% of us is not it, man. You gotta fight us for it. No, man.
Come fuck with me.
A lot of niggas not thinking deeper out here, bro.
Yeah,
but
I'm not trying to find out
a good,
about
like,
you for real.
9 out of
Swear.
10 guys, or 8 out of 10 guys, won't give a shit that you're in a relationship.
Alright, that's it for the podcast today. Have a good night. That's crazy. That's all I'm gonna say. That's a crazy moment. If you know, you know. Alright, good looks, y'all. Have a good one. We gonna stream, same thing.